If you're capable and strong, then you're unstoppable, ladies and gentlemen. I want you to take a moment and ask yourself, what am I truly capable of? Because let me tell you something. If you are capable, if you are strong, then you, my friend, are unstoppable. See, life will test you. It will throw obstacles in your path. It will challenge you in ways you never expected. But your strength, your inner power, is not determined by what happens to you. No. It is determined by how you respond to it. I've seen it time and time again. People who were told they couldn't, people who were doubted, overlooked, underestimated, yet they kept going. They refused to believe in limits. They refused to accept defeat, and in doing so, they became unstoppable. Now let's talk about capability. Being capable is not about having all the answers. It's not about being perfect. Being capable means you are willing to learn, willing to grow, willing to rise. It means that even on the days when you don't feel strong, you dig deep and find the strength to take one more step. There will be moments when you feel tired. There will be moments when you question whether you have what it takes. But hear me when I say this. You do. You always have. You were created to be more than just a survivor. You were meant to thrive. You were meant to rise. You were meant to rise. You were meant to stand in your power and say, no matter what comes my way, I will not stop. I will not break. I will not quit. So today I want you to own your strength. Walk in your power. Believe in your unstoppable nature. Because when you do, there's nothing that can hold you back. Go out there, be bold, be strong, and show the world just how unstoppable you truly are. High men. Strength comes from resilience. It is not born from ease or comfort, but from the moments that test us, the challenges that demand we rise, and the setbacks that force us to find a way forward. Strength is not merely about physical power or an unshakable will. It is about the ability to endure, to persist, and to adapt when life throws the unexpected our way. Resilience is the force that separates those who succeed from those who give up. It is the quiet determination to stand back up after every fall, to keep going even when the road ahead is uncertain. People often believe that strength is about never feeling pain, never struggling, never doubting. But in reality, true strength comes from those very experiences. It comes from falling down and learning how to rise. It comes from standing in the face of failure and deciding that failure will not define you. It comes from moments when you feel broken yet choose to heal. Moments when you are weary yet refuse to surrender. There are times in life when everything feels like it is falling apart. Maybe you lost something you thought you could never live without. Maybe you faced rejection when you were certain you were ready. Maybe you gave everything you had to something only to watch it slip through your fingers. In those moments you might feel weak, you might feel like giving up. But this is where resilience steps in. This is where your true strength is tested. Will you let adversity break you, or will you let it build you? Resilience is not about pretending everything is okay when it is not. It is not about ignoring your pain or suppressing your struggles. It is about acknowledging them, feeling them, and then choosing to keep moving forward despite them. It is about embracing discomfort, understanding that pain is not the end of the story, but rather the beginning of a new chapter. Strength is not in avoiding hardship. It is in facing it head on and deciding that no matter how many times life knocks you down, you will rise again. Some of the strongest people in the world are not those who have never known hardship, but those who have walked through the fire and emerged stronger. They have faced loss, failure, heartbreak, and disappointment, yet they did not allow those experiences to define them. Instead, they used those moments as fuel. They turned their struggles into stepping stones, their pain into wisdom, and their failures into lessons. That is resilience. That is strength. Think about a time when you thought you couldn't go on. A time when everything in you wanted to give up, and yet somehow you found a way. Maybe it was small. Getting out of bed when you didn't think you had the energy, showing up when everything in you wanted to retreat, trying again when you had every reason to quit. That is resilience. That is what makes you strong. Life is not about avoiding struggle because struggle is inevitable. It is about what you do with it. It is about whether you let it break you or whether you let it make you. Chose to believe that failure was final. Instead, they chose to believe that every challenge was a stepping stone to something greater. When you understand that resilience is the source of strength, you stop fearing failure. You stop seeing challenges as roadblocks and start seeing them as opportunities. You start recognizing that every obstacle you face is a chance to grow stronger, wiser, and more prepared for what's ahead. You begin to understand that strength is not something you are simply born with. It is something you build, something you cultivate, something you earn through every experience that tests you. There will always be moments when life feels unfair. Moments when you wonder why you have to go through so much, why things aren't working out the way you planned, why it seems like the road is harder for you than for others. But what if those very challenges are the things shaping you into the person you are meant to become? What if every setback is actually preparing you for something greater? What if the struggles you face today are building the strength you will need tomorrow? Resilience is about refusing to stay down. It is about believing in yourself, even when nobody else does. It is about standing tall even when the weight of the world is on your shoulders. It is about looking at every challenge and saying, this will not break me. This will make me stronger. Because every storm you survive, every battle you fight, and every hardship you overcome is proof of your strength. Strength is built in the moments when you feel weakest. It is built when you keep going despite exhaustion. It is built when you choose faith over fear, action over hesitation, courage over doubt. It is built when you decide that no matter what happens, you will not let life defeat you. Think about the people who inspire you the most, the people whose stories move you, whose resilience leaves you in awe. Are they the ones who had an easy life, who never faced hardship, or are they the ones who overcame? The ones who pushed through, the ones who faced trials and refused to let those trials define them? Strength is not about avoiding difficulty. It is about using difficulty to grow. It is about taking the pain, the disappointments, the losses, and turning them into fuel for something greater. Resilience does not mean you will never struggle. It does not mean you will never doubt yourself. It does not mean you will never feel like giving up. What it does mean is that even when you feel all of those things, you will keep going. You will take one more step, and then another, and then another, because that is what strength is. Not the absence of struggle, but the refusal to surrender to it. You are stronger than you think. You are capable of more than you realize. And every time you rise after a fall, every time you choose to keep moving forward, every time you refuse to let life defeat you, you are proving just how resilient, just how powerful, just how strong you truly are. Capability is a mindset. It is not just about what you have, what you know, or where you come from. It is about how you think. It is about what you believe is possible for yourself. It is about the way you approach challenges, opportunities, and setbacks. People often think capability is something external, something that is given to you or something you are born with. But in reality, it is something you cultivate from within. It is not just about skill, talent, or education. It is about belief, resilience, and the way you choose to show up in the world every single day. There are people with all the advantages in the world, intelligence, resources, connections, but without the right mindset, they still fail to reach their potential. On the other hand, there are those who come from nothing, who start with no support, no privilege, no roadmap, yet they rise. Not because they were the most talented, not because they had more opportunities than others, but because they decided that they were capable. They refused to accept limits. They refused to let their circumstances define them. They refused to believe that their past, their failures, or their setbacks were stronger than their ability to grow, to learn, and to rise. The difference between people who succeed and those who don't is not always intelligence or resources. It is mindset. It is the way they see themselves, the way they see challenges, the way they respond to obstacles. When you believe you are capable, you approach problems differently. You see every failure as a lesson, every challenge as an opportunity, every setback as a setup for a greater comeback. When you adopt a mindset of capability, you stop looking for excuses and start looking for solutions. You stop focusing on what is missing and start focusing on what you can do with what you have. You stop asking, can I? And start declaring. You start declaring. Capability is not something you wait for, it is something you claim. It is not about waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect conditions, the perfect plan. It is about taking what you have right now and making the most of it. It is about believing that even if you don't have all the answers, you can figure them out. Even if you are not the best today, you can become better. Even if you fail, you can try again. Capability is not a gift, decision. It is the decision to show up, to try to push forward even when it is hard. It is the decision to believe in yourself even when nobody else does. It is the decision to refuse to let fear, doubt, or insecurity stop you from going after what you want. Some people never tap into their true potential because they have convinced themselves that they are not capable. They tell themselves that they are not smart enough, not talented enough, not experienced enough. They focus so much on their limitations that they never give themselves a chance to rise above them. But what if the only thing holding them back was their own belief? What if the only thing stopping them was the way they saw themselves? Because here is the truth. You are more capable than you think. You are more powerful than you realize. You have more strength, more intelligence, more potential than you give yourself credit for. But until you believe that, until you embrace that, until you decide that you are capable, you will always hold yourself back. The most successful people in the world were not always the most prepared. They were not always the most experienced. They were not always the most skilled. But they had the mindset that told them, I can figure this out. They had the mindset that said, I will not let my fear stop me. They had the mindset that pushed them to take action even when they were unsure, even when they were afraid, even when they did not have all the answers. That is what makes the difference. Not perfection, not certainty, but the willingness to step forward despite uncertainty, despite fear, despite imperfection. When you shift your mindset, everything changes. Suddenly, challenges become opportunities. Failures become lessons. Hardships become stepping stones. You stop seeing difficulty as a sign that you should quit and start seeing it as proof that you are growing. You stop underestimating yourself and start pushing yourself to rise. You stop waiting for permission and start giving yourself permission to go after what you want. That is what happens when you adopt a mindset of capability. You stop looking at what is missing and start focusing on what is possible. There will always be reasons to doubt yourself. There will always be obstacles. There will always be obstacles. There will always be moments when you feel like you don't have what it takes. But that is when you have to remind yourself. Capability is not about what you have right now. It is about what you are willing to build. It is about the fact that you can grow, you can learn, you can improve. Succeed are the ones who refuse to stop moving forward. The ones who keep learning, keep trying, keep believing that they are capable of more. Think about the times in your life when you surprised yourself. The moments when you thought you couldn't do something, but then you did. The times when you stepped out of your comfort zone and realized you were stronger than you thought. Those moments were not just coincidences. They were proof. Proof that you are more capable than you know. Proof that you have what it takes. Proof that the only thing standing between you and the life you want is the mindset you choose to embrace. When you decide that you are capable, everything changes. You stop waiting for opportunities and start creating them. You stop letting fear dictate your choices and start moving with courage. You stop doubting yourself and start trusting yourself. Because capability is not about what you were given. It is about what you choose to claim. It is about how you choose to see yourself. It is about whether you decide to let your circumstances control you or whether you choose to take control of your circumstances. The people who achieve great things in life are not the ones who had it easy. They are the ones who refused to quit. They are the ones who believed in themselves even when nobody else did. They are the ones who kept pushing forward even when it was hard, even when they failed, even when everything in them wanted to give up. And that is what makes them capable, not their circumstances, not their luck, not their background, but their mindset. The belief that they could, the refusal to accept limits, the decision to keep going no matter what. That same power exists within you, the same ability to rise, the same ability to overcome, the same ability to grow into the person you were meant to be. But it starts with your mindset. It starts with the way you see yourself. It starts with whether or not you decide that you are capable. Because the truth is, you are. You always have been. You just have to believe it. Unstoppable means refusing to quit. It means that no matter how many times you fall, you stand back up. No matter how many times life knocks you down, you refuse to stay down. It means pushing forward when everything in you wants to stop, when the road is tough, when the obstacles seem too big. Being unstoppable is not about never facing challenges, never feeling pain, never experiencing failure. It is about deciding that none of those things will define you. It is about knowing that setbacks are temporary, that failures are lessons, that every struggle is shaping you into something stronger. People often think that being unstoppable means never having doubts, never feeling fear, never struggling with uncertainty. But in reality, unstoppable people feel all of those things. They have moments when they question themselves, moments when they wonder if they are strong enough, smart enough, capable enough. The difference is that they do not let those thoughts stop them. They do not let fear be the final decision maker. They do not let doubts keep them from moving forward. They feel the fear and take action anyway. They acknowledge the doubt but refuse to let it control them. They understand that the only way to grow, to reach new levels, to become more than they were yesterday, is to keep going even when it is hard. Being unstoppable means choosing persistence over comfort. It means that when you hit a wall, you do not stop, you find a way over it, around it, through it. You do not wait for the perfect circumstances, the perfect timing, the perfect opportunity. You take what you have where you are and you make it work. You do not let temporary failures convince you that success is impossible. You do not let one rejection define your worth. You do not let one loss make you believe that you are not capable of winning. Because the truth is, the only way you can be defeated is if you stop trying. The people who achieve great things in life are not the ones who never struggled. They are the ones who never gave up. They are the ones who kept moving forward when everything was against them. They are the ones who refused to listen to the voices that told them they were not good enough, not ready, not worthy. They are the ones who, when life told them a no, found another way. That is what it means to be unstoppable. To keep fighting, to keep showing up, to keep believing that you have what it takes, even when nobody else sees it yet. There will always be challenges. There will always be reasons to quit. There will always be moments when it feels easier to walk away. But those moments are the ones that define you. Those are the moments that separate the unstoppable from the ones who let life defeat them. When everything in you is saying, I can't do this anymore. That is when you have to dig deeper. That is when you have to remind yourself why you started, what you are working for, what is at stake. Because if you stop, you will never know how far you could have gone. If you give up, you will never see what was waiting for you on the other side of persistence. There are stories of people who tried and failed again and again, but never gave up. People who were told they would never make it, but refused to accept that as their truth. People who lost everything, but rebuilt their lives from nothing. Those people are no different from you. The only thing that made them unstoppable was their refusal to quit. They did not let failure be the end of their story. They did not let struggle convince them they were not worthy. They did not let pain break them. They took everything life threw at them and used it as fuel to keep going. Being unstoppable is not about how talented you are, how lucky you are, how much support you have. It is about your mindset. It is about your decision to keep moving forward, to keep fighting for what you want, to keep believing that you are capable of more. It is about understanding that success is not given. It is earned through consistency, through resilience, through refusing to let setbacks stop you. There will be times when you feel exhausted, when you wonder if it is all worth it. There will be moments when nothing seems to be working, when every step forward feels like a battle. That is when you have to remind yourself, this is what makes you unstoppable. The fact that you keep going when it is hard. The fact that you refuse to quit when you have every reason to. The fact that you see obstacles not as reasons to stop, but as opportunities to grow stronger. Most people quit when it gets hard. Most people walk away when they face resistance. Most people choose comfort over persistence. But the ones who refuse to quit, the ones who keep moving forward, they are the ones who achieve things others only dream about. They are the ones who turn impossible into possible. They are the ones who change their lives, their futures, their destinies. When you decide to be unstoppable, you take control of your life. You stop waiting for permission, for approval, for someone to tell you it is okay to keep going. You stop looking for shortcuts and start embracing the journey. You understand that every challenge, every struggle, every setback is preparing you for something greater. You realize that the pain of persistence is temporary, but the regret of quitting lasts forever. There are people who will doubt you. People who will tell you that you are wasting your time, that you are not good enough, that you should give up. But those people do not define your future. They do not get to decide what you are capable of. Only you do. And when you refuse to quit, when you choose to keep going, you prove them wrong. Not with words, but with actions. The greatest victories in life come to those who refuse to stop. The biggest dreams are achieved by those who keep pushing forward. The strongest people are not the ones who never struggled, but the ones who struggled and refused to give up. That is what makes someone unstoppable. Not talent, not luck, not resources, just the simple decision to keep moving forward, no matter what. The world belongs to those who refuse to quit. The people who keep showing up, keep trying, keep believing in themselves even when nobody else does. The ones who understand that failure is not the opposite of success, it is a part of it. The ones who do not let temporary pain stop them from reaching their ultimate goal. The ones who know that as long as they keep going, they cannot lose. Being unstoppable is about pushing through when others would walk away. It is about proving to yourself that you are stronger than your circumstances, tougher than your challenges, more powerful than your fears. It is about never settling, never accepting limits, never allowing yourself to be defined by failure. It is about knowing that as long as you are still trying, you are still in the game. And as long as you are still in the game, there is still a chance to win. Chance to win. Most people wait for motivation to keep them going, but unstoppable people do not wait for motivation. They rely on discipline, on commitment, on their decision to refuse to quit. They do not make excuses. They do not blame circumstances. They do not let one bad day turn into a lifetime of regret. They keep going because they know that every step forward, no matter how small, is progress. Every challenge overcome is a victory. Every time they refuse to quit, they are proving to themselves that they are unstoppable. The only way you can fail is if you stop trying. The only way you can be defeated is if you give up. No matter how hard it gets, no matter how long the journey takes, no matter how many times you fall along the way, you have a choice. You can stay down or you can get back up. You can walk away or you can keep moving forward. You can let life break you or you can decide that nothing, not failure, not pain, not doubt, not fear will stop you. That is what it means to be unstoppable, to refuse to quit no matter what, to keep going no matter how hard it gets, to believe in yourself even when nobody else does, even when nobody else does. Because in the end, the only thing standing between you and everything you want is your decision to keep moving forward.